Donald Trump had locked down the White House the entire day from the press. You looked at Donald Trump's schedule. It was closed to the press all day. We now know what was taking place. Donald Trump was meeting with the chairman of the Joint Chiefs. He was meeting with his top military advisors to plan an all-out war in Iran. The United States still has about 660,000 troops stationed in the region or nearby, and Donald Trump was asking for advice and guidance, and he was being given strategies for an all-out invasion of Iran. The question does not seem to be if, it seems to be when. The Wall Street Journal has even reported the following. Trump considers return to all-out war with Iran, but is sticking to diplomacy for now. Trump briefed on all-out war options in Iran, but opts to stick with talks at least for this 60-day period until that ends. He told his aides he's fine with negotiations for now, but he's looking what's going to happen on August 18th. Alex Ward, who was behind this article, writes, Trump is actively weighing a return to all-out war with Iran, discussing the possibility with senior officials like Hegseth and the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, Kane. He's sticking with diplomacy for now. The conversation focused on what Netanyahu has been demanding: finish the job, meaning total annihilation of Iran. The warmongers are in control, obviously. Netanyahu visited Israel's so-called security zone, an area in southern Lebanon that Israel claims is a security zone, but which actually belongs to Lebanon. And Netanyahu was there in order to engage in more provocative actions and threats to try to blow up the Iran MOU. Netanyahu was then on various broadcast networks in Israel today saying, we entered Iran twice to save ourselves from destruction. There will be a third time if necessary. And we've heard Israel's defense minister, Israel Katz, saying, we're going to continue to attack Syria. We're going to continue to attack Lebanon. We're going to continue to attack Gaza. No one's going to stop us. And we're preparing for the third war with Iran this year. Netanyahu also said, Israel is the nation state of Jewish people. No Palestinian state will be established here. We will pursue an active security policy. We won't sit back and wait behind fences. And so J.D. Vance notably changed his tune as Donald Trump planning and plotting this all-out war. J.D. Vance went on this Michael Knowles podcast on the Daily Wire, and J.D. Vance started saying, really the only reason why we did this memorandum of understanding is we need to refill some stocks. And so we're just using the 60-day period to do that. Listen to what he says. Play this clip.
So I think what the president has told us to do is use this MOU to sort of refill the world's oil economy, to refill some stocks, and then to see where the hand is.
You know, lots of people would think that you did an MOU because you want to follow the terms of the deal, but no, you want to refill your stocks. Also, J.D. Vance told Michael Knowles that this is really just the beginning, that we've got a lot of cards we're going to play. We're going to be playing much more games with Iran. I mean, these sickos, do you think this is a game? Do you know how much the American people are suffering right now? And now you're going to send hundreds of thousands of American troops to die in an unlawful and catastrophic war while you openly admit, while you're on these right-wing podcasts, that you're just using the MOU to buy time, to rearm, and to play more cards and games with Iran? Here, play this clip right here.
This is the end of the beginning, okay? There is a lot more game to play, and there are a lot more cards that we're going to see, to mix metaphors here. And the good thing about it is that we're served by an administration, we're served by a president of the United States who is constantly trying to figure out how to gain an edge for the American people.
And then J.D. Vance went on state regime media and Fox and said, really? You know, Laura, the purpose of this MOU was really to just test Iran, to see, are they going to be good friends or pals? Is that what they're going to... What are you talking about? You invaded Iran. You killed little girls in Manab. This war was unlawful and catastrophic from the outset. Iran destroyed the United States in this war. The U.S. looked foolish. We were about to hit tank bottom, so you begged for a deal the way you begged for a ceasefire, and now you keep on violating it. And again, you show how bad faith you are. And it's hard for me to say this as an American, but it is absolutely disgraceful what's taking place. But here's what J.D. Vance says. Play this clip.
And I think because of that, what you see in the room, Laura, is I think evidence of a real push and pull in their system. There are people within the Iranian system who recognize the way that they've done business for 47 years is a mistake, and they want to turn over a new leaf. You also see some resistance, some of the old hardliners, some of the old radicals who don't want to change their behavior. Part of what we're trying to do in this negotiation, Laura, is to see how serious they actually are. And to be serious, they've got to not just say the right things, they've got to make real concessions. So whether it's the president, me, anybody else in the negotiation, we care a lot less about what the Iranians say. We care a lot more about what they do. We see some positive signs. Obviously, we see some negative signs. What the president has told us is work the problem, see where the negotiation is going to lead. And if it doesn't lead to a successful resolution on the diplomatic side, we still have a lot of optionality, and we've still accomplished a whole lot for the American people.
And notice who's out there. This is coordinated communication as Donald Trump is planning the all-out war that the Wall Street Journal speaks of. And who do you think is leaking that to the Wall Street Journal? Obviously, Marco Rubio and the war hawk neocon contingent who desperately want all-out war and death and mass genocide. Speaking of, Netanyahu was then on the various programs saying, "We didn't leave Lebanon. We have effectively established a security belt about 10 kilometers inside Lebanon with the agreement of the Lebanese government. And of course, Hezbollah is outraged. The same is true with Iran." I mean, the whole thing is to provoke Iran, apparently, and to continue after the MOU with Iran to try to get the United States back into war. Stop it. The American people don't want to be in this godforsaken war. Then you have MB Ghalibaf, Iran's lead negotiator, realizing all of this is taking place. He's the leader of their parliament as well. He goes, look, even now that we are negotiating with America, we're not negotiating with a friend. We're negotiating with an untrustworthy enemy who will definitely take action against us whenever they find opportunity. In truth, a person can negotiate well only if they are also prepared for war. If it becomes necessary to do this through war and fire, we will do it. We said that if they respond, we will definitely respond again. Lebanese army is being placed at the service of the Zionist regime so that it can ensure the security of the Zionist regime. If they refuse to implement what was discussed, the Trump regime, we are prepared for war, Ghalibaf says. Ghalibaf was then asked, so Trump said that some of this money was going to be buying grain from the United States, only from American farmers. How true is that? Ghalibaf says, not accurate at all. Ghalibaf then says, we are now selling our oil at a 20% premium. If America wants to fight, we also know how to fight as well. If they intend to deprive us of selling our oil, no one will benefit from oil at all. From the day the blockade was actually lifted until today, Ghalibaf says, Iran has exported over 40 million barrels of oil, and this happened in just the last 10 or 12 days. But in the previous 50 or 60 days, we truly didn't export even a single barrel of oil. We were entirely tied up with this issue. The text of the understanding states that passage through the strait without charge is only for 60 days. Iran will under no circumstances back down from its rights in the Strait of Hormuz. These are our territorial waters. Meanwhile, you had Qatar's foreign ministry spokesperson, Majed al-Ansari, said that when Kushner and Witkoff arrived in Qatar, as Iran's foreign ministry spokesperson previously made clear, Iran wasn't showing up. So it was just Witkoff and Kushner and the Qatari mediators. And I'm sure Witkoff and Kushner were just talking about their own personal dealings. Here, play this clip.
As I confirmed a while earlier, the U.S. envoy, Mr. Steve Witkoff and Mr. Jared Kushner are here in Doha to meet with the mediators, meaning with the Qatari officials. And the talks will be around all regional issues which are of concern, including, of course, the negotiations with Iran, but also including Lebanon and other files in the region. So they are not here for direct negotiations with the Iranians or related meetings, as we have made clear in the past that the high-level meetings will only happen when the technical meetings are producing results for them to take place, and the technical meetings are ongoing between the parties, whether they are direct or indirect. It keeps moving in and out, according to the logistics of it and the discussions and the way they are progressing. But I can confirm that the technical meetings are still happening, and the mediators are working as go-betweens between the parties in the time being. We're not expecting any high-level Iranian officials at the moment, but as I said, the technical meetings are ongoing since Luzerne, and they haven't stopped since then.
J.D. Vance was then whining to Michael Knowles on Knowles' podcast about how he finds it frustrating and fascinating that the Iranians will say, no, there are no peace talks going on when we're having technical talks. No, J.D., you're not speaking in Doha, Qatar, like Trump said, and the technical talks are not a retrade. It's not a new negotiation. It's the implementation of the deal, the MOU. There's no new deal that Iran is negotiating. Once you all made a deal and you signed it in Versailles, that's the deal. And other than this despicable Trump regime who can't keep their word and everything is bad faith, I think a lot of people normally try to look at a deal and they don't brag about breaching, but this Trump regime brags about breaching. They brag that the deal is never even a deal. And that's Trump's whole life. He is a grifter and a con artist. And you saw the stories about him today, right? $1.2 billion he made in crypto, like personally in the past, 6 months. Did you see that he had to make that disclosure while all of the people who held his meme coins in crypto were down massively and lost all of their money? How is that even acceptable? But this is the same approach that they bring to the MOU, and it leads to bankruptcy. Here, play this clip.
I'm not saying they're going to, I can't predict, of course, the future, but so one, there were scheduled talks, really technical talks building on the negotiation that we've already had. Those are definitely happening tomorrow. One of the things I find just fascinating and frustrating about the Iranians is they'll say, no, there aren't peace talks ongoing, but there are technical talks between the United States and Iran about the peace deals. It's like, okay, so it's a Persian negotiating tactic and a Persian rhetorical device that I don't understand, but that is the way that the Iranians have done this.
And just think about this despicable behavior of people like Markwayne Mullen, the Homeland Security Secretary. This is what he said. He said, I did the happy dance when Iran lost in the World Cup. You did the happy dance? What are you, no offense to 2-year-olds. Are you 2 years old? As Foreign Minister Araghchi of Iran writes, mission accomplished, Mr. Mullen. You also accomplished something else, proving to the world that you have no business hosting an international tournament. Your conduct has been a masterclass for how to squander the dignity that comes with being a host. And Araghchi is right. The host cities, whether it was Los Angeles, Seattle, or wherever, handled it with dignity and grace. And it was great to see people from all over the world coming into these cities that Donald Trump says are hellholes. But I think what people got to see is that the Trump regime, the way they were treating everything, they were the biggest disgrace, while people just wanted to spend time together and hang out and enjoy football or soccer. And so now I just want to share with you a prediction. This was yesterday by Professor Jiang Shui Qin. And here he is. He's got a YouTube channel as well. He was on Piers Morgan and he said, yeah, look, the U.S. has 660,000 troops staged. At this point, maybe it's December, maybe it's March. Iran knows the decision has been made to invade with ground troops. And that's what Trump's been plotting. Here, play this clip.
No, you're absolutely right. Boots on the ground would be a disaster. But I still believe that eventually the United States will be forced to use boots on the ground. In fact, you can argue that there's been a lot of preparation. You still have 660,000 American troops ready to go. They are staged and ready to go. And even though there's an MOU, they're still there. And you could also argue that the MOU is really just buying time because right now it's really hot in Iran. And so you have to wait for cooler weather before you can launch a ground invasion. And so I think we are in a waiting game right now, but eventually you will see boots on the ground.
So you think it will definitely happen?
I think the latest will be next March.
There you have it, folks. Let me know what you think. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 7 million subscribers, and thank you so much for watching. Hit subscribe.
Want to stay plugged in? Become a subscriber to our Substack at MeidasPlus.com. You'll get daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, ad-free episodes of our podcast, and more exclusive content only available at MeidasPlus.com.